Well, good morning. I'm David Kern with the CBS and debrief. It's Friday, the 26th of November. We're just coming up on 9 a.m. here in the Sydney office, and looks like it'll be a fairly quiet day today. The US markets were all largely closed due to the Thanksgiving public holiday there. It did have some direction from Europe, with most of the forces there trading up a little bit higher. In fact, we can go and have a look at that now, and then move on through the other commodities. So FTSE up 0.74%, the CAC up 0.34%, and the DAX up most of all 0.82%. Just to have a look here at where our region is headed. Nikkei down 10, SPI down 4, and the Hang Seng up 108. The commodities, last trading at, in the case of crude, 84.18, coffee at 207.45, corn at 335 and a quarter, three quarters rather, cotton 116.59, wheat 685 and a quarter, sugar 27.95, soy $12.55, oats 360 and a half, rough rice $13.56, wool $9.95, copper $3.79.8 per pound, gold $1,376.40, and silver 27.63. In currencies, the euro is buying 1.3355 US dollars, pound is buying 1.5758, US dollar is buying 83.6185 yen, the Aussie was buying 98.06 US cents, the US dollar is buying 1.0093 Canadian and 1.0007 Swiss francs. Economic data. You can see that we've got one bit of data of high significance, which is the European Consumer Price Index, year on year for November. Other than that, all of the data is of medium consequence. A little bit more data out of the German Eurozone, then some data out of Japan later on this morning on CPI, excluding fresh food and energy. And then this evening we have Swiss leading indicator for November at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Take a look now at the Falcon Trader. Have a quick look at where our simulated account is. Okay, so that's up quite nicely. I think when we last looked at that, it was at 200,000. And we've got one of these trades, which is Fortescue, just dipping into the red here slightly, and those two Hong Kong trades that were down yesterday. Otherwise, we've got some good gains here on a couple of these Aussie trades, 17 and 18%, and Accurix and Anvil up strongly as well, with the Oriental Watch Company out of Hong Kong up the most of all, 28.47%. As I've mentioned previously, this is based on the VectorVest top picks, and these are the dates when we entered into these trades, so basically at the start of the month. Okay, one of the newsletters I use is the GT Financial Report, and they've just put my recommendation out on a company called Arafura, which is the code is ARU. And certainly just doing a little bit of comparison here with Linus, which operates in a similar space, albeit that Arafura have about 2 or 3 years to catch up to Linus in terms of being near production stage. But it does appear to be lagging somewhat, and would expect it to want to start catching up to its peer. And we'll need to keep our eye on that one. But basically happy to buy it up to about $1.30 with a stop loss around $1.15 and a target around $1.70. Take a look here at the US dollar index. Okay, it doesn't seem to want to let me move that around there terribly much, but certainly any sort of strength here, I'd expect to see resistance up around this 80 level, and at least do some consolidation there. And that Fibonacci extension once again proves to be significant in terms of it presenting a left shoulder and now right shoulder of this head and shoulders formation. So if we do see continued US dollar strength, we can perhaps expect that to come back down here before then continuing the trend. A couple of other stocks to follow up on. Kingsgate Consolidated is certainly one that I've been talking about, but does seem to have now broken down through this previous level of support here, which is a bit of concern because next levels tomorrow I look to be in the low 9s or 980 or so, where we might expect a turnaround there. So a little bit of a concern, that one. Might have to exit it, take a small loss. Final stock here, ABY, Aditya Birla, largely a copper play. I did talk about that at $1.31. Since traded off to $1.22. In fact, it did get lower than that, about $1.19. It does appear to be turning the corner here. At least hopeful that's the case. But certainly we know where we want to have our stop loss, which is under this low here, $1.19. So around $1.15 or so would, I think, represent reasonably good risk reward, hopefully. Okay, well, I think that's probably enough for today. Fairly quiet one all round, as mentioned, because of that US public holiday. So I guess we'll be back to the swing of things on Monday. In the meantime, thanks as always for your attention. Found it worthwhile. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.